Minecraft inventory layout is a very controversial topic, as you can see from the 23,000 upvotes and 1200 comments this Reddit post has. I spent hours researching for the best layout and this is what I found. The layout that I'm gonna show you is for everyday use, so when exploring around or just gathering some items. First we have the offhand slot. There are quite a few options, like the shield, which is very good when fighting with a skeleton or blocking a creeper explosion and helping you survive. The next option would be the totem of undying, to be even more sure that you won't die. This is especially useful for hardcore worlds, where you only have one life. I personally don't use totems, I like to die like the real men, and then wake up in my bed at home. But the third option is torches. This is also my personal favorite, since I can easily light up the areas that I explore. And thanks to Optifine and the dynamic lights feature, the area around me is always lit up by just holding the torch in my offhand and not even placed down. And now onto the first slot in the main hotbar, and that's gonna be your weapon of choice, so probably a sword. It's pretty common for people to use it in the first hotbar slot, so it can be quickly accessed by just pressing the number 1 on your keyboard. Next up in the second slot will be your pickaxe. It can be switched between a fortune pickaxe or a silk touch one if needed. The pickaxe is one of the most commonly used tools in the game, and that is why it's in the second slot. In the third one, as you might already have guessed it is an axe, the third most used tool in Minecraft. It can be used as a weapon when your sword breaks or you just don't carry a sword at all, and this is what I like to do. Most of the times I don't even carry a sword with me, so I can free up my inventory space and use an axe when killing some mobs. Moving on onto the fourth slot, and this one is a bit more tricky. Using a shovel in that slot would make a lot of sense to have all of your tools in one place. But a shovel might not be used so often, so we also have a choice to use a bow or a trident over there. I like to switch the fourth slot between a shovel and a bow, depending on what I need to do. So either one of those is a good choice for the fourth spot. And now onto the fifth and sixth slot. I like to keep those two for miscellaneous stuff. Sometimes they are just empty, so I can grab anything from the inventory and I will have room on my hotbar. Or for example, when I have a shield in my offhand, I will have torches in the fifth or sixth slot. For building something quickly, these two slots are really useful again. Just put the blocks over there. So keeping them for a lot of things is a good idea. Another use for these ones could be an ender chest, and let's talk about that quickly. Ender chests are really useful to carry a lot of extra items with you. When putting it full of shulker boxes, you can carry over 46,000 stackable items with you at once. Almost the same amount of blocks we placed in our TNT biome before blowing it up, so rest in peace. The basic things you should have there are some extra building blocks and wood, different potions, food and replacement tools. Then some extra totems, rockets, and an elytra is a good choice. I keep a lot of backup firework rockets in my ender chest. And what I also like to do is when finding valuable blocks is to put them instantly into the ender chest. So when I happen to die, I will still have all of those items. Just need to remember to carry an ender chest with you at all times. Moving on into the next slot, and that's for the temporary blocks. For me it's usually dirt, since it can easily be broken even without the tools. Hashtag no shovel club. Another block you can use there is scaffolding. I often do this when building bigger farms, but I know a lot of people hate scaffolding since it's really complicated to understand how it works at first. And let's take a look at the 8th slot now, and for me it's always the slot for food. What food exactly? Well, that's up to you. But I like to use golden carrots since they restore a lot of saturation and are also pretty easy to get when you have a gold farm. The cooked pork chop and steak is also a good choice when you don't have any golden carrots. But gold farms nowadays are so easy to build, so come on. And the last spot on my hotbar has multiple choices. Either it goes to the water bucket, which is mostly used in the early game when you don't have an elytra. Use it to save yourself from falling to death in the huge 1.18 caves and cliffs. But when you have an elytra, I am always using that spot for rockets. Quick access to fly away into the wilderness. This also keeps your offhand free for a shield, totem or torches. This was the main hotbar, but what about the rest of the inventory? One of the best methods is to divide your inventory into 3 different parts, or that's at least what I do. The first 3 columns are for my extra tools, and they are often exactly on top of the tools on my hotbar, so it's easy to switch between them when needed. Also different blocks that I can interact with, like crafting tables, chests, shulker boxes and so on. And depending if you need them, you can always carry arrows, totems, armor pieces and shields. The middle part is always used to carry different blocks. Unless I'm doing a huge build project, then the whole inventory is just a complete mess and full of different blocks. Mostly when playing, I try to keep it nice and simple. And the last 3 columns are for whatever really. I like to keep there some backup food and rockets, so they are above the hotbar items. So now you may have the perfect inventory layout, but it's also important to know how to use your inventory. So here are 9 easy shortcuts and tips in your inventory. When you want to place an item from your hotbar to your inventory, just press the corresponding number on your keyboard. This also works in chests and makes sorting items even easier. When holding left click and dragging, you will be able to separate the items evenly across however many slots you drag over. But when you want to place just 1 block to each slot, hold down the right click and drag with your mouse. Again, great for crafting and filling up the hoppers in your sorting systems. To drop items straight from your inventory, just hold Ctrl and press Q on the item you wanna drop. This drops the whole stack at once, so it's really good for clearing out your inventory. And you probably know that pressing Q drops 1 item from your hotbar, but when holding Ctrl and pressing Q, you can drop the whole stack at once. So be kind to friends and instead of giving them just 1 diamond, give them a whole stack. The mouse middle click is really useful feature. When middle clicking on a piston for example, it will pop right up on your hotbar when it exists in your inventory. So when doing big builds, it is quite often that you need to swap the blocks on your hotbar, and the middle click makes it so easy to do. To put all of the same items into a single stack, just double click on the item and boom, they are now all in a single stack. And to transfer all of the same items from your inventory to a chest, just grab the item, then hold shift and double click on the same item. And as you can see, all of them were transported, and this also works the other way around, so getting the same items from the chest. To put an armor piece on quickly, just scroll over it on your hotbar and right click it. This works as long as you don't already have that armor on. In my opinion, this is the best way you should use your inventory, and I think it's pretty hard to make a better layout than this, but feel free to do so in the comments below. Thanks for watching, see ya!